This sentencing hearing goes far beyond determining a punishment for burglary. Stephanie Ochterling stands before Judge Melissa R. Mogen after admitting her role in a series of burglaries that affected multiple victims across Burnett County. Before announcing the
occurrence, I have to look at generally deterring others from, again, doing the same or similar crimes. We live in Burnett County. I live in Burnett County. You do not. A lot of the people in this room live in Burnett County or have a vacation residence. There are so many vacation homes in Burnett County. You're from Minnesota. You have no connection to Burnett County except for Robert English and his mother and her home here. That's your only connection. And you're shaking your head up and down because that's true.
Yes.
Okay. But Burnett County, it's a small county. In the winter time, in the colder months, other than having snowmobilers and those things and ice fishermen, when we have nice weather to do so, nice snow, we have a population of about 18,000, 19,000 people, okay? In the summer, when we have all of the people who come and have all of their vacation homes, because we have many, many vacation homes, our population skyrockets, okay? We can go up to 80,000 or more people in this small county during the warm months. That makes all of those vacation properties, all of those homes with snowbirds and people that go away for the winter, vulnerable. And it has. We've had multiple strings of burglaries. And as it's been stated in Mr. English's sentencing, he was part of a crew or himself that engaged in multiple burglaries over multiple times and years. And now you, since meeting Mr. English, joined forces and you burglarized multiple homes in Burnett County, homes, and by homes, I mean vacation properties, cabins, those kinds of things, multiple places, and some multiple times for one place. And that is victimizing an entire community. That is putting an entire community in fear. Because when you burglarize somebody's home or somebody's vacation property, their cabin, etc., you're not just taking away from them property. It's more than just personal property. It's more than the fishing gear. It's more than the ATVs, the UTVs. It's more than the motors. It's more than, you know, the tools and all of those things. What you are taking away from people is their peace of mind. You are taking away their security. You are taking away from some people their home away from their home, their place that they come to decompress, to de-stress, to enjoy life, and to get out and to enjoy what Burnett County has to offer. And the more that we have individuals like yourself and like Mr. English and like your brother coming in and destroying that, the more you are destroying Burnett County's ability to have tourism, to increase their ability to support each of the people that reside here in Burnett County and make this home. So your impact of burglarizing one property or two properties or three properties or one more than another, you are impacting more than just 3, 4, 5, 6 families. It's an entire community. Burglaries are serious in multiple ways, including the fact that I know that it sounds, from what I've read and from what I've heard, that each of the homes or vacation properties were either staked out or cased, so to speak, to see if if and when people have been there so that they're an easier target to hit. But the fact is, that it's this crime, it can be defined as serious also because even though you staked them out, you cased the joints, you did the things and thought that people were not going to be there. When you hit that property, when you went to go take things that weren't yours from that property, somebody could have been there. Something more serious could have happened. We could have had somebody hurt or killed had you not known that someone was unexpectedly at their own property. And we could have been here for a far more serious crime in addition to these crimes. Now, I've reviewed and read all of the information and all of the facts about you. Other than starting to use substances at a very early age, and it sounds like, I'm not sure if I gathered this correctly, but your brother may have been an influence. That's what I've read or gathered from these documents. But it seems like other than that, you had a pretty good childhood. You have a mother who's been protecting you and being there for you for your whole life. And you're kind of shaking your head up and down. And you didn't have some of the traumas that I see of other people sitting in that chair. But for the fact that you perhaps had some issues and you decided to use substances and alcohol at a very early age, I don't see the reason as to coming down this path or finding Robert English. Because all in all, I've heard really good things said by the district attorney that up until the age of 31 or so, you were doing well, you had good jobs, you did things, you were a good daughter, you had all of the positives. You lost your job, that happens, but usually people then go, okay, I'm going to gather everything up. I'm going to look at a different career. I'm going to do some other education classes, or I'm going to get their certificate, and I'm going to do this instead of that. But instead, you allowed negative associates in your life and people to kind of help change your path. They were your choices. Wasn't a mistake. You made the choices to associate with individuals that you probably at the time knew you shouldn't. And you continued down that path because with each and every casing of a property, with each and every staking out that property to see if it was a good target, with each and every break of a window or jimmying of a door, or with every time you cut off a padlock or whatever you did to get into these properties, each and every time it was a choice and you knew it was happening. And then each and every time you came back with your loot, your treasures from other people's properties, you sifted through them like they were just found or abandoned property, and you took what you wanted and you decided what to sell and how to sell it and who to help sell it, and you brought other people involved. You had other people involved in this. where other people were. But each and every step was a choice. You could have walked away. You could have said no. You could have told authorities. You could have told your mom. You could have told somebody else. You could have done anything at each of the specific dates and times and steps that could have prevented further loss from other people. But you didn't do that. You waited until you got caught. And there was a huge investigation. I'm going to tell you, just because we're a small county doesn't mean that we have officers that don't know how to do their jobs. They do, and they do very well. Because this wasn't an easy thing to pinpoint and to track and to find and to determine. So I need to look at protecting the public, and that means I need to protect the public from you and from behavior like this. I need to also protect the victims that are involved, because they have specifically been targeted and are suffering and impacted by your decisions. So I have to look at that. But the state is correct in the fact that the law requires that I look at probation first. Probation is the first thing I have to look at. Unless confinement, that means prison here, unless prison is necessary to protect the public from further criminal activity from you, unless you need correctional treatment, that means you can only get the treatment confined in prison because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. You won't seek the services. You won't listen to an agent. You won't do those things. Or if probation would unduly depreciate the seriousness of the offenses, okay? When I'm looking at this case, it's very serious. They are serious. And it's aggravated because we have multiple burglaries, multiple victims here. But in looking at the things that I have to consider, and the fact that you have no criminal history, you were law-abiding, except for using substances and doing those things, and or you may have engaged in other things, you just didn't get caught, but you were law-abiding until you were 31 or so. You have the ability to become law-abiding again. You obviously have brains, or you wouldn't have had a good job like you did, so you can do something else. You just have to steer yourself that way, and you have to be dedicated enough to want you. You have to want you and want a better life for you. You choose you next time. Don't choose someone who's giving you flattery here or there or trying to make you feel good. That's all talk. Only you can make yourself feel good. So if that means going to therapy, if that means...
This is the most significant legal moment in the hearing. Judge Melissa R. Mogen explains that burglary is not measured only by the value of stolen property. The court emphasizes that every burglary creates fear, destroys victims' sense of security, and can threaten the safety of entire communities, especially when vacation homes are deliberately targeted. The judge also points out that every stage of these crimes involved conscious decisions, from selecting vulnerable properties to selling stolen items afterward. That reasoning becomes central to the sentencing analysis because it demonstrates planning rather than a single impulsive act. At the same time, the court still has to balance punishment with rehabilitation under Wisconsin sentencing law. What do you think? When multiple families are affected by repeated burglaries, should rehabilitation remain the priority, or should prison become the primary consequence? Let's return to the courtroom as Judge Mogen announces the final sentence.
With the misdemeanor thefts, what I'm going to do is I'm sentencing you to 9 months of jail. As a sentence. And I am assessing $443 in fines and fees. With regards to the burglary counts, I am sentencing you to 3.5 years of initial incarceration with 3 years of extended supervision. But I'm staying that and placing you on probation for 5 years. This is a blessing for you. You could have been sent to prison today. With the burglaries, what I'm going to do is I am going to order that there be 1 year of conditional jail with credit for the time she has already been serving. So that would mean, I believe if I've calculated it correctly, because I think the jail goes by 360 for a year.
For a year.
You do go by 365 for a year?
12 months is 360 and a year is 365.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So then I had 21 days, but that is not correct because I was going by what I thought was correct. So you would have about another month to serve because this is serious and you need to understand the severity. And with regards to the theft and the conditional jail, they are concurrent, the same credit. You have 339 days of jail credit. Conditions on probation and extended supervision. No contact with Robert English. No contact with Kenneth Achterling unless your department or your DOC agent approves. An AODA assessment and follow through. No use or possession of any illegal drugs, substances, or paraphernalia. No alcohol. No bars, taverns, liquor stores, casinos, or establishments that have the primary purpose for the sale or the service of alcohol. If you are employed at a place that serves alcohol, you must get your Department of Corrections agent's approval for that employment. You must have gainful employment or additional education. Regular testing. And so you know that the no use or possession of illegal substances, that does include THC. Even though you're living in Minnesota, you may not use THC, even for medicinal purposes. No contact with Burnett County except for probationary purposes or court-related purposes. Any court-related purposes. Or any other purposes that you've asked the court for a written permission to do so, and you must have court approval. The court believes here that based upon the number of vacation homes and the fact that there is proven staking out or scoping the homes where people were snowbirds or they were not using that property all the time, that the community is at risk at whole for further burglaries. You may not have contact with Robert English's mother or obviously her home. No contact with any of the victims, their residents, or any vacation properties that they have. 15 hours of community service per year for the first 3 years of probation. Any program that your agent deems necessary. No contact with any convicted felons unless in a treatment facility or your agent's approval. You must reside with your mother until your agent approves otherwise. With the felonies, $518 in fines and fees. You are paying probation because there is restitution. Is the restitution stipulated? What is that amount?
Bringing up the supplement submitted to the court real quick.
I have $24,437.84 in my supplement that was filed on May 2nd, 2025. There's a later one, early.
There's an October 1st one. It's document 41 and 25 CF42. I picked the right one. And that is
$2,344.84. The court is ordering stipulation, or is ordering restitution per the stipulation, and that is joint and severally liable with co-defendants. They're going to, again, pay probation. The court is going to order $500 per month in payments. And the payments will begin, I'll give you a grace period because you have another month of conditional jail and you're going to need to get out and try and look for employment. They will begin August 1st. That is a condition of your probation. If you fail to make your payments, you fail to abide by your conditions of probation, then you could be revoked and you could be sent to prison. It's very important. If you don't have the ability to pay $500 per month, the court is going to have a restitution hearing restitution hearing. You'll come to restitution court and you will advise the court as to why you are unable to pay that amount per month. And there could be consequences, which could be additional conditional jail and or revocation. If you are revoked off of probation, you would be eligible for substance abuse programming, earned release programs, and the challenge incarceration program. You have 20 days to appeal. Should you fail to appeal within 20 days, you do lose that right. Failing to pay your fines and fees, not only will the court enter a civil judgment against you, but you could, the court will issue a warrant. You could sit up to 6 months in jail because you are still on probation. That would be extraditable from Minnesota to Wisconsin. I need your DNA. The jail will make sure that they get your DNA In a case like this, I'm not certain if you'd be able to have it expunged from the system through a written letter to the Department of Justice. I don't think this is a felony that you could do that, but you certainly can try. So you would need to do a written letter to the Wisconsin Department of Justice, not to this court. 339 days of jail credit. You may no longer use or possess a firearm for life. No voting in any election until your civil rights are restored. Mr. Schmidt, what am I missing?
The only request I'd make is for the no contact with Robert English's mother. If we put that by name, Diana Bellinger, just because I think she's going to be going to a jurisdiction other than here where they might not know who that is.
Thank you. That is very important to have. Diana Bellinger, mother of Robert English. And that means any residence that she has. So if she moves to Minnesota, you still can't see her in Minnesota. Anything further?
No.
Ms. Perrin.
The only thing I would note for the record is she may not know the names of the victims. She may not know their addresses.
Judge Melissa R. Mogen ultimately imposes a sentence designed to balance accountability, public protection, and rehabilitation. Stephanie Ochterling receives probation with a stayed prison sentence, additional conditional jail time, restitution obligations, substance abuse treatment, employment requirements, community service, and strict no-contact orders involving victims and co-defendants. Throughout the hearing, Judge Mogen repeatedly stresses that every decision the defendant made carried consequences far beyond the individual burglaries, affecting victims, neighborhoods, and the broader Burnett County community. At the same time, the court recognizes the defendant's lack of prior criminal history and provides one final opportunity to rebuild her life under strict supervision. If you found this case as intense as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful courtroom breakdowns.